put that knife inside my back and it was cutting deep. I picked my Glock up and I hit the streets. At the age of 17, that's when all my demons creep. And they say they love to smoke and I love to smoke, so fuck it, it's gonna be what it be. Baby mama's mad, I'm not the one for them, I'm the one for the streets.
Shooting happened early this morning at a home on Palmetto Street near Maple Ridge. That's in southwest Houston, just west of the city of Bel Air.
Could learn more about the death of a former NFL player and his wife. Police say Antonio and Dawn Armstrong were shot in their home on Palmetto Street early yesterday morning.
News of a former professional athlete involved in gun violence is not uncommon. What is different about Antonio Armstrong is the person at the other end of the gun.
Houston police say the 16-year-old shot both of his parents in their bedroom.
The couple's 16-year-old son is now charged in connection with that shooting.
His mother, Dawn Armstrong, died, and his father, former NFL player Antonio Armstrong, is now in critical condition.
The former Miami Dolphin and Texas A&M All-American and his wife Dawn, both 42, were murdered this week, and police have charged their 16-year-old son.
The couple's 16-year-old son is accused of shooting both of them yesterday morning in their southwest Houston home. Dawn died at the scene, and Antonio later died at the hospital.
Friday, July 29, 2016, at approximately 1:41 a.m., police will receive a 911 call from a 16-year-old boy. This boy would be the son of Antonio and Dawn Armstrong. The teen would allegedly tell police that he heard gunshots in his parents' bedroom and went to hide inside of a closet on the 3rd floor. It's also alleged that the boy told police that a masked intruder killed his parents.
We're outside Antonio Armstrong's gym, where positive messages and flowers and balloons adorn the outside.
Early reports say this was an all-American family. Armstrong, a hardworking pastor with a successful fitness chain, and Dawn, a terrific mom to their 3 children.
Now, this family was incredibly involved with their southwest Houston community, from football leagues to several gyms run by the Armstrongs.
Family members saying there's nothing missing here. Police adding this was an outstanding family with hard-working parents. Armstrong's former coach at Texas A&M, R.C. Slocum, called him a joy to coach, a big influence on teammates, and a better person.
One of the gyms the Armstrongs own is upstairs on the 2nd floor of this building, but I want to show you what's downstairs. This is a memorial. They've had to move it inside because it's gotten so big.
The former NFL player was a well-known coach in the Houston area. We spoke with one of his players.
A really good football coach. He was always there for me when I needed him the most. So I felt like he was my family almost. And when he died, it made me really sad.
The bodies of both Dawn and Antonio were found in their 2nd floor bedroom, both with pillows over their faces. Dawn Armstrong was DOA, and Antonio Sr. was pronounced deceased later at the hospital. Police say that upon arriving to the home, the teen who allowed them inside had to turn off an expensive security system to let him in. And it was not long after that the 16-year-old boy was charged with capital murder.
A big new development in a high-profile case. A young man accused of killing his own parents could be released from jail tonight.
A.J. Armstrong may soon be free on bond while he awaits his trial for murder.
Surrounded by his 2 attorneys, 2 grandmothers, and grandfather, A.J. Armstrong walked into court. He didn't hide from our camera today, but he didn't want to talk either.
Hi, A.J., do you want to say anything? Is there anything you want to say?
Yeah, A.J. Armstrong is expected to walk out of the Harris County jail here over the next few hours. His attorney tells us his family is working on posting bond. The teen has been jailed ever since his parents' murders almost 9 months ago.
Less than 24 hours ago, the 17-year-old was released on a $200,000 bond.
AJ, what I'd like to be you're out of jail. Can you talk to us about how you're feeling? Rick, you want to say anything? You want to talk to us real quick?
We want to get this young man back in school. We want to get him back with his family. He's been in basically secluded for 23 hours a day, and he's being sedated while he's been in the adult Harris County jail. He's grateful to be out. He understands the seriousness of the situation. He's very grateful that the judge allowed him to be out. Obviously, it's his first day back out of custody for almost 9 months. He's spending time with his family, and we're getting ready to prepare his defense.
A .22 caliber handgun was found on the kitchen counter, along with a handwritten note. Shell casings were also found in the bedroom that matched the gun, but police say that AJ admitted to experimenting with silencing the gun with blankets and pillows. It's alleged that AJ testified the same gun inside of a pillow and also lit the house on fire recently.
It's not even the fact of just dealing with not having my parents anymore. It's the fact that I'm being accused of something of this magnitude. I'm innocent. There was somebody else in the house that night, and to know that this is something I'm being accused of just makes everything so much worse.
AJ spent 8 months in juvie jail. Junior year of high school in a cell, no football games, no prom, no graduation. More than a year after AJ bonded out of jail, a twist. The defense filed a motion to drop the murder charges because Armstrong's attorneys say prosecutors kept evidence from them.
It's painful, but I want to know truth and I want my grandson free. Whatever it takes to free my grandson, I just want the truth, and I want everybody involved to do their job.
I mean, my dad was my best friend. My mom was the best mom you could have, and there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about the things that they did for me and just the great parents that they were.
Prosecutors say that the alarm records and other evidence proves that whoever did this was already in the home. There were no signs of forced entry.
AJ didn't react as months of private text messages to his mom and dad were shown and read to a jury. Strangers who will ultimately decide, was AJ just a normal kid acting out or a 16-year-old killer sick of taking heat from his parents?
It was an emotional day 2 in the courtroom. Jurors heard the 911 call Antonio Armstrong Jr. made after finding his parents dead in their home in July of 2016.
Texts from October through May, up to 2 months before the murders. It shows a frustrated, exhausted pair of parents, Dawn and Antonio, telling AJ over and over he's a, quote, disappointment, that they're tired of his lying, his spending money, his bad grades.
Video, as recorded by HPD Crime Scene Unit Officer Jimmy James, walks you through what police say they saw. July 29th, 2016. Evidence markers, 3 shell casings, the gun used to kill Antonio Armstrong Sr. and wife Dawn, and the note left next to the gun on a kitchen counter. Evidence of an attempted cover-up, says the prosecution.
In April, Antonio Sr. texted, AJ, I'm sick of getting reports about silly crap you are doing. Keep screwing up and doing silly things like speed through the park. I'm trading your car in for one that matches your maturity. Last morning.
However, lawyers for AJ say that there's no blood, DNA, fingerprints, or gunshot residue linking AJ to the shooting. They also said that within 11 minutes of going into the house, before any evidence was processed, before they knew anything about the crime scene as far as forensics, they had already made up their mind as to who did it. The police pursued no other suspects.
Breaking news, the judge just declared a mistrial in the capital murder case of Antonio Armstrong Jr.
He is the teenager who was accused of killing his parents.
Break down what we just heard go down in court. I just found out that the split of the jury, 8 jurors believed that A.J. Armstrong was guilty. 4 jurors believed he was not guilty. As we know, with this capital murder case, it has to be unanimous, and the jurors just could not agree on their verdict.
Well, guys, everyone from the judge to the jury believed that more time could help bring us a verdict. Yet 19 hours of deliberation was not enough time, and the judge declared a mistrial, pretty much coming from the jury, who said that they felt hopelessly deadlocked.
It is improbable the jury can reach a verdict, and accordingly, because of that, the court declares a mistrial. We are unable to arrive at a unanimous verdict without causing some members of the jury to do violence to their conscience.
Definitely a tragic story, and our deepest condolences to the family. But this story got a lot of twists and turns, and it's crazy, like I'm not even sure what to
Stunning
think.
developments today in a high-profile A.J. Armstrong capital murder case. Defense says prosecutors now admit losing key pieces of evidence.
So the big question now is, what does this all mean for Armstrong's upcoming trial?
They say prosecutors didn't lose the evidence, and in fact, they insist that it wasn't their fault that it went missing. It was in a locked judge's chamber. A legal expert says this is a huge deal and could impact the trial.
During the first trial in April, an evidence bag went missing. The defense learned Armstrong's phone was inside. What they didn't know until late last week was there was also DNA swabs and shell casings that went missing.
Evidence went back into the judge's chambers. Judge's chambers were locked. Someone who had a key, presumably either the cleaning staff or maintenance, was in there. The stuff was in a bag. May have mistaken it for trash and thrown it out.
Because of this, could A.J. Armstrong walk free?
We're not going to speculate on what is going to happen in the upcoming trial.
On one hand, I believe him, but on the other, it's like the evidence is pointing to somebody in the house. But let me know what y'all think, man. And it's a channel revamp, so if you haven't already, make sure if you're digging this content, you subscribe to the channel. I'm bringing more videos, and I'm gonna catch you in the next one.
This trial in the case of a man accused of killing his parents when he was a teenager.
Let's get right to KPRC2's Rochelle Turner at the courthouse with the developments of significance here. Rochelle, the second time A.J. Armstrong has had a hung jury.
Today, jurors were once again unable to decide whether A.J. Armstrong is in fact guilty in the 2016 murders of his parents, Don and Antonio, so a mistrial was declared.
Mistrial is declared in the capital murder case of a man accused of killing his parents. A.J. Armstrong is accused of murdering both parents back in 2016. Today, the jury was unable to reach a unanimous verdict.
Now, this is the second time A.J. faced trial in the death of his parents. A first mistrial was declared in 2019 because after 3 days of deliberation, the jury back then could not reach a unanimous decision.
Similar arguments were presented in both of A.J.'s trials.
And the result was a scene in court today that played out almost exactly like it did during that first trial in 2019.
The Harris County District Attorney's Office will try A.J. Armstrong for a third time. This comes just after last month's retrial ended in a hung jury.
You know, that is the question many have been asking, whether or not A.J. Armstrong Jr. would be tried a third time. We now know the answer is yes.
I'ma sip all night till the pain gone. I'm knowing that they hate me since I came round. I've been loyal as fuck to the end of